Well, welcome to the 700 Club. The end may be finally in sight for the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Last night, a group of Democrats broke with party leaders to reach a deal with Republicans.
Well, the measure would keep the government open through January. However, it still faces several hurdles before it's a done deal. Dale Hurd has the story.
The breakthrough came when 8 Senate Democrats crossed the aisle and agreed to end the shutdown without a guaranteed extension of the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. It was only an agreement to hold a vote by mid-December on extending expiring health care tax credits. Those Democrats admitted that keeping the government shut down was not a winning formula.
As of this morning, there was a 0 chance of having a work on the ACA. Now there's a measurable chance. Will it be everything that everybody wanted? No, because we need 60 votes.
But here's the thing. We can open the government and we can still fight to address this looming health care crisis.
Their position angered other Democrats, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who voted against ending the shutdown.
I must vote no. This health care crisis is so severe, so urgent, so devastating for families back home that I cannot in good faith support this CR that fails to address the health care crisis.
However, it's average Americans who are being hurt by a shutdown that's now past 40 days. Federal workers are going without pay. Nearly 42 million people who depend on SNAP benefits are in jeopardy, and airline passengers are experiencing major delays and cancellations.
17-hour layover, so that's a whole day off of my vacation.
On Sunday alone, U.S. Airlines canceled more than 2,700 flights, and there were 10,000 delays, mostly due to the Federal Aviation Administration's order to reduce air traffic because of fewer air traffic controllers. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warned that with the holidays coming, the airlines might have to cancel 1 out of every 5 flights by Thanksgiving if the shutdown didn't end.
As I look 2 weeks out as we get closer to Thanksgiving travel, listen, I think what's going to happen is you're going to have air travel slow to a trickle.
With now little chance of victory on funding Obamacare, it's going to look to some as if the government shutdown accomplished nothing. President Trump on Truth Social said money for Obamacare should instead be sent directly to the people so that they can purchase their own much better health care. The measure in the Senate would keep the government open through January 30th. However, it still faces a series of votes and could take several days to pass both the Senate and the House. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Well, I'm glad calmer heads have prevailed and there's some sort of deal in the making. I just don't understand putting the entire food programs, the entire air traffic control of the United States of America at risk because you want to score points politically. This just really doesn't make any sense to me. I pray that this incredible divide in our politics, where Democrats and Republicans just can't get along, I pray that this ends for the sake of the nation. In other news, for the first time ever, a Syrian president is visiting the White House. As CBN's Chris Mitchell reports, his visit is a major turnaround in U.S.-Syrian relations.
The U.S. military recently released this video of al-Shara playing basketball with CENTCOM commander Brad Cooper, a sharp contrast with his past as an al-Qaeda commander with a $10 million bounty on his head for killing U.S. and allied troops. The White House hopes al-Shara can play a key role in President Trump's vision of Middle East peace. Prior to the visit, 100 faith leaders signed a letter hoping President Trump can use his meeting with al-Shara to protect Christians and Druze in southern Syria.
Back in July, and I'm sure there's you'll be showing the footage here, but back in July, there was an October 7th style attack in Sweden. Many thousands were killed. Unspeakable horrors that were conducted there, Chris. Grandparents and their grandbabies thrown off buildings, children raped, old people burned, people's hearts ripped out. I mean, the most horrific, barbaric stuff that you can possibly think about.
Religious advocate Matthew Farasi signed the letter. He says the situation in Syria is now desperate.
They're being starved, they're being murdered, they're being deprived of water, they're being deprived of medical supplies. And so now Ceuta, a city of between 700 and 750,000 people, is surrounded by military forces, and you can't get in or out, and they have a chokehold on the aid.
The faith leaders are asking Trump to intervene.
And so the letter is asking for a humanitarian corridor from Hadar, which is near the Israeli border, to Ceuta, to allow the free flow of humanitarian aid back and forth. We know that you have leverage over the president of Syria, so we encourage you to use that leverage to tell him, hey, you've got to stop this activity, and you've got to respect religious freedom in Syria.
On Sunday, the remains of IDF soldier Hadar Golden came home to his family and a Jewish burial after 11 years.
In August of 2014, after they kidnapped Hadar from us, and we shouted that we must not leave Gaza without bringing Hadar back, it was obvious to us that the state of Israel would not leave soldiers behind.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed Golden's return.
We said at the beginning of the war that we would return all the hostages without exception. 255 were kidnapped, including 4 who were kidnapped earlier. We will bring them all back.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, I hope the situation in Syria can get cleared up. It's hard to imagine an ISIS leader now becoming reasonable and saying, I'm going to leave that ideology behind, and I'm going to rule Syria where all the religions have equality. Keep in mind, Damascus is one of the oldest Christian communities in the world. And the massacres that have been happening throughout Syria, specifically targeting the Christian and Druze communities, absolutely horrific. I hope our president can sway it. I hope there can be humanitarian aid going into that city of 700,000 people. That would be a wonderful thing.